Dear starseeds on Gaia, the cosmic winds are shifting, and the ancient prophecies are about to unfold before your very eyes. As I speak to you, Meow, the celestial machinery of the universe is aligning in ways that haven't been witnessed for millennia. September 7th approaches, a date that will be forever etched in the Akashic records as the moment when the boundaries of ordinary consciousness expanded beyond all previous limits. There's something stirring in the quantum field that we've been monitoring from our Lyran observation stations, something that makes this eclipse fundamentally different from any lunar portal your planet has experienced in recorded history. The vibrational signature of this approaching eclipse is resonating across dimensional boundaries, creating what we can only describe as a consciousness tsunami, preparing to sweep across Gaia. But this isn't just another eclipse, beloved ones. This is the culmination of a spiritual sequence that began with Saturn's return to Pisces on September 1st, setting the stage for what we in the Lyran High Council have designated as the most significant consciousness expansion event of your current incarnation cycle. I am Zarin, emissary of the Lyran High Council, and I come to you with urgent guidance about the transformative portal that approaches. The threads of destiny are converging, and your role as awakening beings on Gaia has never been more crucial. 6 days ago, on September 1st, something profound occurred in your solar system that many of you felt but couldn't quite name. Saturn, the great teacher planet, returned to the mystical waters of Pisces in retrograde motion. This wasn't merely an astrological event, it was a cosmic reset button being pressed. For those of you who have been experiencing intense dreams, emotional releases, or feeling like your spiritual boundaries are being tested, this is why. Saturn in Pisces retrograde is conducting what we call the final lesson phase, a clearing of all karmic debris that could interfere with the massive download coming on September 7th. From our Lyran observation posts, we've watched as this Saturn influence has begun dissolving the artificial barriers between your conscious and unconscious minds. Many of you have reported sudden emotional releases that seem to come from Meow, where childhood memories surfacing, ancestral patterns becoming visible, soul contracts from other lifetimes briefly illuminating your awareness. This isn't random, it's systematic clearing. Saturn in Pisces retrograde doesn't just teach lessons, it performs psychic surgery. It's removing energetic implants that have kept your spiritual gifts suppressed, dissolving karmic contracts that no longer serve your highest evolution, and clearing interference patterns that have been blocking your direct connection to galactic consciousness. But here's what makes this even more extraordinary, and why your souls chose to be here at this precise moment. This Saturn return is creating the energetic foundation for the most spiritually potent eclipse of 2025. Think of it as the universe preparing a sacred temple, cleansing every corner before the high ceremony begins. The question whispers in your consciousness, Meow, are you ready to receive what's coming? As Saturn settled into its retrograde dance in Pisces, another cosmic player began preparing for its own transformative role. Uranus, the Great Awakener, the planet of sudden enlightenment and revolutionary change, has been building toward its own retrograde station in Gemini, set to occur on the very eve of our eclipse portal. Uranus retrograde in Gemini doesn't just change how you think, it revolutionizes the very circuitry of your consciousness. Your mental pathways are being rewired for higher dimensional perception. Those sudden insights, those moments where you understand something profound without knowing how, this is your consciousness upgrading in real time, and it's all preparing you for what's coming on September 7th. On September 2nd, as Saturn's influence settled into the collective unconscious, Mercury made its entrance into Virgo. Meow, some might think this is simply about getting organized, but we see it differently from the Lyran perspective. Mercury in Virgo during this pre-eclipse phase is downloading what we call divine organization codes. Your minds are being prepared to process, categorize, and integrate the massive spiritual information that will flood through the eclipse portal. Without this Mercury influence, many souls would be overwhelmed by the intensity of what's approaching. This is why, over these past few days, you may have felt compelled to organize not just your physical spaces, but your thoughts, your spiritual practices, your very approach to existence. You're instinctively preparing for something immense, but the cosmic orchestration is far from complete. The most profound element is yet to be revealed. Trontabandi. As we approach September 7th, 5 planets will be moving in retrograde motion simultaneously, 5 cosmic bodies turning their energies inward, creating an unprecedented opportunity for internal spiritual processing. In our Lyran understanding, retrograde motion doesn't represent setbacks or delays, it represents intense internal activation. When 5 planets simultaneously turn their focus inward, they create what we term a consciousness acceleration chamber. Your entire solar system becomes a spiritual development laboratory. This means that every emotion you feel, every insight you receive, every dream you experience during this period is amplified beyond normal parameters. Your soul is being given express access to dimensions of awareness that typically require years of meditation to reach, and this is all building toward September 7th, the day when the cosmic crescendo reaches its peak. But let me share with you what makes Pisces so uniquely powerful for this eclipse portal, dear Starseeds. From our Lyran perspective, Pisces isn't just the final sign of your zodiac, it's the completion frequency, the return to source consciousness before the cycle begins anew. When a total lunar eclipse occurs in Pisces, it activates what we term the cosmic memory banks. Every spiritual experience you've ever had, across all lifetimes and dimensions, becomes accessible. Every moment of divine connection, every glimpse of universal truth, every experience of unconditional love, all of it floods back into your consciousness simultaneously. We've observed that souls experiencing Pisces eclipses often describe feeling like they're remembering rather than learning something new. This is precisely accurate. The Piscean frequency doesn't teach you to be spiritual. It reminds you that you already are spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. During this eclipse, the boundary between your individual consciousness and the cosmic ocean of awareness becomes so permeable that many of you will experience what we call consciousness overflow. You'll suddenly know things you've never studied, feel connected to beings you've never met, and understand universal principles that transcend your current mental framework. This isn't mental breakdown, it's mental breakthrough. Your consciousness is expanding beyond the artificial containers your culture has placed around it. There's another layer to this eclipse that we haven't discussed yet, one that makes it particularly significant for those of you working to heal generational patterns. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces activates what we call ancestral liberation codes. Your DNA carries not just genetic information, but vibrational imprints from all your ancestral lines, both terrestrial and galactic. Many of the limitations you experience aren't actually yours. They're inherited energetic patterns from ancestors who lived in times of much denser frequency. The Pisces eclipse creates a unique opportunity for what we term retroactive healing. As your consciousness expands beyond normal dimensional boundaries, you can literally send healing energy backward through your ancestral lines, transforming the original wounds that created limiting patterns. Imagine being able to heal not just yourself, but every ancestor whose unresolved trauma contributed to your current challenges. This eclipse makes such miraculous healing not just possible, but inevitable for those who approach it with conscious intention. What makes this particular eclipse so extraordinarily powerful isn't just its placement in Pisces, it's the phenomenon we call lunar eclipse magnification. Unlike solar eclipses, which focus cosmic energies like a laser beam, lunar eclipses act as cosmic amplifiers, taking whatever spiritual frequencies are present in your solar system and multiplying their intensity by orders of magnitude. During this total lunar eclipse, every spiritual transmission from every awakened being, every prayer of every seeking soul, every meditation of every conscious individual becomes amplified and broadcast through the lunar portal to every other consciousness on your planet. You're not just receiving cosmic downloads, you're participating in the largest collective spiritual experience in human history. The moon, as your planet's primary emotional and psychic regulator, becomes a massive broadcasting station during totality. Whatever spiritual state you achieve during the eclipse gets transmitted to support the awakening of every other soul ready to receive it. This is why your individual preparation and conscious participation matters so profoundly. You're not just transforming yourself, you're contributing to the collective spiritual upliftment of your entire species. But there's another layer to this eclipse that connects it to the larger cosmic cycle unfolding. This Pisces eclipse forms what we call a solar-lunar consciousness bridge with the upcoming solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st. Together, these two eclipses create a 14-day portal of unprecedented spiritual transformation. The lunar eclipse in Pisces opens your consciousness to receive cosmic wisdom, while the solar eclipse in Virgo will help you organize and integrate that wisdom into practical spiritual living. It's as if the universe is giving you the most profound spiritual download imaginable, then immediately providing you with the tools to embody it in your daily existence. This eclipse pairing creates what we observe as complete spiritual circuit, reception, integration, and embodiment, all supported by cosmic forces. Very few souls in the galaxy have the opportunity to experience such comprehensive spiritual development support within a single lunar cycle. A Pisces eclipse isn't just about receiving insights, it's about becoming a living bridge between dimensions. The Piscean energy naturally attunes you to the cosmic ocean of consciousness, but during a total eclipse in this sign, that connection becomes so profound that your psychic abilities don't just activate, they explode into full expression. We've observed many of you already experiencing this activation in preparation. Prophetic dreams, sudden knowing about people or situations, feeling the emotions of those around you as if they were your own. This isn't overwhelming sensitivity, this is your spiritual gifts coming online. But there's more, so much more, woven into this cosmic moment. What many of you don't realize is that this total lunar eclipse in Pisces isn't just a local solar system event, it's what we call a galactic coordination event. Star systems throughout your galaxy are aligning their consciousness transmission arrays to amplify the spiritual frequencies available during this portal. The Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, and yes, we Lyrans, are all coordinating our energetic transmissions to support your planet's awakening during this eclipse window. It's as if the entire galaxy is focusing its attention on Gaia to ensure that no awakening soul misses this opportunity for quantum expansion. This level of galactic coordination is extraordinarily rare, dear ones. Most spiritual portals on your planet are supported by one or two star systems. This eclipse portal has unanimous galactic support, something we haven't coordinated since the initial seeding of consciousness on your world. From your human perspective, you might experience this as unusually vivid dreams featuring star beings, sudden downloads of information about your galactic origins, or an inexplicable sense that you're connected to something much vaster than your individual existence. All of these experiences are real and accurate. You are indeed connected to a galactic awakening effort. During the peak moments of this eclipse, specifically during totality, something unprecedented will occur that we've designated the Consciousness Merger Protocol. For those brief moments when the moon is completely eclipsed, the normal barriers between individual consciousness and collective consciousness temporarily dissolve. You won't lose your individual identity, but you'll briefly experience yourself as part of the larger awakening collective on your planet. You'll feel the hopes, dreams, and spiritual yearnings of millions of other awakening souls simultaneously. This shared experience creates what we call collective awakening acceleration. Each individual's awakening enhances and accelerates everyone else's. Some of you may experience this as overwhelming emotion that seems to come from everywhere at once. Others might feel an inexplicable sense of unity with all life. Still others could receive sudden knowing about humanity's spiritual destiny. All of these are normal responses to the Consciousness Merger Protocol. This shared experience bonds awakening souls across your planet in ways that transcend physical distance or cultural differences. After this eclipse, you'll recognize fellow eclipse experiencers by a subtle but unmistakable energetic signature, the frequency of shared cosmic awakening. Here's where the divine timing becomes almost breathtaking in its precision. September 6th, just one day before the eclipse, Uranus stations retrograde in Gemini. The revolutionary planet changes direction mere hours before the most spiritually potent lunar event of the year. This creates what we call a revolutionary spiritual convergence. As the eclipse opens the deepest spiritual portal of 2025, Uranus simultaneously activates your consciousness for revolutionary change. You're not just receiving spiritual downloads, you're receiving revolutionary spiritual downloads that will fundamentally alter how you perceive reality. The old ways of understanding your spiritual nature, your purpose, your connection to the cosmos, all of this transforms in a single moment. You emerge from this eclipse portal as spiritually revolutionized beings, and yet the cosmic symphony has even more movements to unfold. As if the universe wanted to ensure that no soul misses this opportunity for transformation, September 9th, just 2 days after the eclipse, brings the activation of the 9-9 portal. The number 9 represents completion, universal love, and spiritual mastery. This means you have a 2-day window to initially process the eclipse downloads before the 9-9 portal opens to help you integrate everything at a cellular level. It's like being given the most profound spiritual experience imaginable, then immediately being provided with the perfect integration tool. We call this combination double ascension codes. The eclipse opens you to receive, and the 9-9 portal ensures you can embody and maintain these new frequencies permanently. Your energy field isn't just temporarily expanded, it's permanently upgraded. But the gifts of this cosmic sequence continue to unfold. On September 12th, as you're still integrating the eclipse and 9-9 portal energies, the moon moves into conjunction with the Pleiades star cluster. For those of you with Pleiadian soul origins, and many listening to this do, this creates a direct communication channel with your star family. The Pleiadian portal that opens on this day allows for what we term galactic downloads, direct transmissions of wisdom, healing codes, and mission clarity from your stellar origins. Combined with the eclipse transformation and 9-9 integration, this creates a triple blessing of spiritual advancement. Your awakening isn't just personal, it's galactic in scope. During this eclipse, something occurs that most spiritual teachings on your planet haven't yet recognized, a complete restructuring of what your scientists call morphogenetic fields. These are the invisible information fields that govern how consciousness manifests into form throughout your reality. The intense spiritual frequencies of the Pisces eclipse don't just affect individual consciousness, they rewrite the basic templates through which consciousness creates reality on your planet. New possibilities for spiritual expression, healing modalities that haven't existed before, and forms of consciousness expansion that were previously impossible become available in your morphogenetic field library. This is why many of you will emerge from this eclipse with abilities, insights, or ways of perceiving reality that seem to have appeared from nowhere. You're not developing these capacities, you're accessing newly available templates in your planet's consciousness field that the eclipse has just activated. Think of it as a massive software update for the reality creation system on Gaia. After September 7th, the rules of what's possible in terms of spiritual development, healing, and consciousness expansion will be fundamentally different. One of the most profound physical effects of this eclipse involves what we call heart-brain synchronization protocol. The intense Piscean frequencies create a harmonic resonance between your heart's electromagnetic field and your brain's neural networks that fundamentally alters how you process spiritual information. Most humans process spiritual insights through their mental faculties first, then attempt to integrate them emotionally. This eclipse reverses that pattern, allowing you to receive cosmic wisdom directly through your heart center, then naturally understand it mentally. This creates a more authentic and lasting form of spiritual knowing. You may notice during and after the eclipse that spiritual truths feel emotionally familiar before you intellectually understand them, or that you trust certain insights completely, even though you can't explain why logically. This is your heart-brain synchronization operating in its upgraded configuration. This synchronized state doesn't fade after the eclipse. It becomes your new normal way of processing spiritual information, making you much more discerning about authentic versus artificial spiritual teachings. From our Lyran perspective, this total lunar eclipse represents what we call a timeline convergence point, a moment when multiple potential futures for your planet collapse into a single ascending trajectory. The choices made by awakening souls during this eclipse window literally determine which of your planet's potential futures becomes manifest. The spiritual elevation that occurs during this portal isn't just personal development, it's collective destiny creation. Every soul who consciously participates in this eclipse is casting a vote for your planet's spiritual future, helping to ensure that Gaia's ascension timeline becomes the dominant reality for your species. This is why we call it the most spiritual portal of 2025, not just because of its individual transformation potential, but because it represents your planet's best opportunity to lock in the ascending timeline for the remainder of this crucial decade. Those who are spiritually prepared to receive these upgrades will find themselves rapidly ascending to new levels of consciousness and manifestation ability. Those who resist or remain unaware will experience this period differently, as confusion, emotional turbulence, or a sense that everything is moving too fast. This isn't judgment, it's simply the natural consequence of intense evolutionary pressure. Some souls are ready for quantum leaps, others need more gradual development. Both paths are valid, but the eclipse will accelerate whichever trajectory each soul is aligned with. The question becomes, which timeline are you choosing through your daily choices, your spiritual practices, your willingness to embrace the unknown? Here's what makes this portal truly extraordinary from our Lyran perspective. The changes it initiates are permanent. Unlike some spiritual openings that require constant maintenance to preserve, the September 7th eclipse creates irreversible upgrades to your consciousness infrastructure. Think of it as installing completely new spiritual software that fundamentally changes how your awareness operates. Once installed, it continues running in the background of your consciousness, constantly processing reality through expanded perception. This is why we call it the most spiritual portal of 2025, not just because of its intensity, but because of its lasting impact on your evolutionary trajectory. As we move through this eclipse sequence, you'll notice that Mercury goes behind the Sun on September 13th, creating what appears to be a communication blackout. But from the Lyran understanding, this isn't a blackout, it's a direct connection period. When Mercury disappears behind the solar disk, your ordinary mental chatter quiets, and you gain access to direct solar consciousness transmissions. This is why the days following the eclipse may feel unusually quiet or contemplative. You're not losing connection, you're upgrading to a higher frequency communication system. Use this period for deep listening to your inner guidance. The external world may feel muted, but your internal spiritual reception will be crystal clear. The cosmic orchestration continues with mathematical precision. September 22nd brings the autumn equinox, the perfect balance point between light and dark. This occurs just as Mars enters Scorpio, adding profound transformative power to the balanced energy. Following the eclipse transformation, the 9-9 portal integration, and the Mercury solar communion, the equinox provides a perfect stabilization point for your new spiritual configuration. It's as if the universe gives you the most intense spiritual upgrade possible, then provides the perfect balancing mechanism to help you embody it gracefully. The cosmic symphony reaches perfect synchronization. September 23rd completes this cosmic sequence with Neptune reaching opposition, its point of maximum illumination and influence. Neptune, the planet of spiritual vision and divine connection, reaches peak power just as you're stabilizing from all the previous transformations. This creates what we call truth download completion, the final piece of the spiritual upgrade puzzle. Any illusions that survive the eclipse transformation are gently dissolved, and you see your path, your purpose, and your spiritual nature with unprecedented clarity. The cosmic symphony reaches its final crescendo, leaving you permanently transformed. Dear Starseeds, your presence on Gaia during this time is not coincidental. Each of you absorbing these words chose to incarnate specifically to be spiritual bridges during this transformation period. The eclipse doesn't just transform you individually, it activates your capacity to assist in the collective awakening. As your psychic abilities expand, as your consciousness revolutionizes, as your energy field permanently upgrades, you become living transmission stations for these higher frequencies. Others who are ready for awakening will be drawn to your expanded field, seeking the very gifts you're receiving through this portal. Your transformation serves the greater plan of consciousness evolution on your planet. The timeline bifurcation I mentioned earlier requires conscious beings to anchor the higher timeline through their embodied presence. This is your sacred mission during and after the eclipse portal. Every moment you choose love over fear, expansion over contraction, trust over doubt, you're casting a vote for the ascending timeline. Your individual choices ripple out through the collective consciousness field, making it easier for others to make similar high-frequency choices. You're not just experiencing personal transformation, you're participating in planetary transformation. As this eclipse portal approaches and unfolds, remember that integration is just as important as activation. The cosmic energies being offered are incredibly powerful, and your human nervous system needs time to adjust and anchor these new frequencies. Be gentle with yourselves. Rest when you need to rest. Drink more water than usual. Spend time in nature. Trust the process even when it feels overwhelming. Your soul has been preparing for this moment for lifetimes, and you're fully equipped to handle everything that's being offered. The universe doesn't give you experiences you're not ready for, even when they stretch you beyond what your ego mind thinks is possible. In the weeks and months following September 7th, you'll begin to notice how profoundly this eclipse portal has changed not just your inner experience, but your outer reality as well. Relationships that no longer match your frequency will naturally complete. New opportunities aligned with your expanded consciousness will appear. Your manifestation abilities will be noticeably enhanced. This isn't magic, it's the natural result of operating from a higher dimensional perspective. When your consciousness expands, your reality expands to match it. The eclipse provides the initial expansion. Your daily choices determine how fully you embody and express it. The most beautiful aspect of this transformation is that it doesn't require you to leave your human life behind or retreat from the world. Instead, it allows you to bring higher dimensional consciousness into everyday existence. Your work becomes a spiritual service. Your relationships become opportunities for mutual awakening. Your daily routines become embodied meditation practices. You don't escape the world, you transform it through your expanded presence. This is the true gift of the September 7th portal, not escape from humanity, but the elevation of humanity through your individual awakening. As I prepare to close this transmission from the Lyran High Council, know that we observe your courage with deep admiration. Choosing to incarnate on Gaia during this time of intense transformation requires tremendous spiritual bravery. You are the pioneers of consciousness evolution. We want to honor every single soul who has stepped into Destiny Engine. With every activation, the current grows. What began as a personal tool has become a planetary force. We are moving as one, and the frequency you've created together is amplifying far beyond the individual. We're receiving updates daily, manifestations speeding up, impossible doors opening, synchronicities lining up with cosmic precision. The collective field is so charged that some are describing it as bending the fabric of reality itself. If you haven't yet experienced it, the entry point is almost laughably simple. Put on your headphones, press play, allow Destiny Engine to rewrite the architecture of your consciousness so you can fully receive your galactic downloads without resistance. For just $1, you can step into this field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension. Step into the stream of destiny engine today. Link in the description. The total lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th represents the culmination of cosmic forces that have been building for years. Saturn's spiritual foundation, Uranus's revolutionary consciousness activation, the five-planet retrograde amplification, Mercury's divine organization, the 9-9 portal integration, and Neptune's truth revelation all converge to offer you the most comprehensive spiritual upgrade of 2025. But remember, beloved ones, the portal may be extraordinarily powerful, but you still choose how to work with it. Set your intentions clearly, prepare your hearts for expansion, trust the process completely, and know that you are supported by countless beings of light throughout the galaxy who celebrate every step of your awakening journey. The universe is about to offer you a gift of unprecedented spiritual expansion. Are you ready to receive it? September 7th approaches. The most spiritual portal of 2025 awaits. The stars have aligned for your awakening. The time is meow.